everyone. Today's topic of discussion is Agrobacterium mediated gene transfer. Let us see what are the content which we are going to deal today. We will start with the introductory part and we will see the different type of Agrobacterium species which are responsible for different diseases. Then we will study about TI plasmid and organization of tDNA. And we will see the different gene required for the transfer of tDNA. At last, we will study about the mode of action, that is the transfer of DNA. So, let us start with the introductory portion of Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Agrobacterium tumefaciens is a rod-shaped, gram-negative soil bacteria which infect dicot plant. Some common species of Agrobacterium are Agrobacterium tumefaciens and Agrobacterium rhizogene. Agrobacterium tumefaciens is a serious pathogen of walnut, grapevine, stone fruit, nut trees, sugar beet, horseradish, etc. Agrobacterium tumefaciens grow optimally at 28 degrees centigrade. The doubling time can range from 2.5 to 4 hours depending on the media and the culture formation. It grows aerobically without formation of endospores. The cells are rod-shaped and motile, having 1 to 6 flagella. This type of flagella are known as peritrichous flagella. To be virulent, the bacteria must contain a tumor-inducing plasmid said to be TI plasmid or PTI. PTI stands for plasmid tumor inducing form, which contains the tDNA and all the genes necessary to transfer it into the plant cells. Many strains of Agrobacterium tumefaciens do not contain TI plasmid. To be virulent, there should be a presence of TI plasmid. The mechanism this bacteria uses to parasitize plant tissue involves the integration of some of its own DNA into the host genome, resulting in tumor and changes in plant metabolism. Agrobacterium tumefaciens is now used as a tool for engineering desired gene into plants. So, it is a very good engineering tool which nowadays is used to transform the plant with a desirable gene. Apart from Agrobacterium tumefaciens, we have more Agrobacterium species that are responsible for different genes. So let us see by one. Agrobacterium tumefaciens has TI, that is tumor inducing plasmid, and that is responsible for tumor induction, which is also called as crown gall tumor in plants. Agrobacterium tumefaciens is also known as by the name Agrobacterium radiobacter and Rhizobium radiobacter. Agrobacterium rhizogene has RI, that is root inducing, and are responsible to cause hairy disease in plants. RI plasmid is an analog to TI plasmid. Agrobacterium tumefaciens is responsible to cause cane gall in sugarcane plant. Agrobacterium vitis is responsible to cause gall in grape plant. In this way, you have seen this. Apart from Agrobacterium, there are 3 more species responsible for causing disease in different plants. Next topic of discussion is TI plasmid, that is tumor inducing plasmid. TI plasmid is a large size plasmid of 200 kilobase per size. The TI plasmid is lost when Agrobacterium is grown above 28 degrees centigrade. That is 28 degrees centigrade is its optimum temperature to grow. If it grow above 28 degrees centigrade, then there will be a curing of plasmid, that is the loss of plasmid. Such cured bacteria do not induce crown gall or any tumor. The modification of this plasmid is very important in the creation of transgenic plant. So, if you want to use it as a genetical tool, then we have to modify some of its segments so that we can use it in transferring any kind of plant or transgenic plant. Plasmid have tDNA, right border, left border, Virgin, phytochrome region, origin of replication and opine region. So, all the components should be there in Ti plasmid. If you see the diagram of Ti plasmid, you can see that all the genes like auxins, cytokinin, opine are present between the right border and left border. And from the right border to the left border, the division which we can see is the tDNA region. There is a presence of virulent region and also will have various virulent genes. There is also origin of replication and opine catabolic region. Till now we have seen the component of Ti plasmid. Now we will deal with only tDNA segment. So the tDNA starts from the left border to right border. In between are present the auxin, cytokine, opine production gene. So the tDNA or the transfer DNA is transferring tDNA of tumor inducing plasmid of some species of bacteria. The size of tDNA mainly range between 15 to 30 kilobase. tDNA contains gene for tumor induction. For that it has right border and left border. Right border plays an important role in transferring and integration of tDNA. Absence of right border will terminate the tDNA transfer. So, somehow the right border is so important, because if there will be no right border, there will be no transfer of tDNA to the plant cell. tDNA carry gene for phytohormone, that is auxin and cytokine, and opine that are expressed in plant cell. Opine, somehow it is present in the tDNA region, but it will be only expressed when the tDNA is integrated inside the plant cell. The last point, overproduction of this hormones at the site of infection is responsible for the proliferation of wounded cells in galls or tumor. These tumor can harbor a plenty of bacteria, so tumor starts to grow. So at this point of time, all the growth hormones, auxins and cytokine play their role for the uncontrolled division of the cells, and that results in the tumor formation of the plant. There is one more segment of tDNA, that is opines. Opines are low molecular weight compound found in plant crown gall tumor or hairy root tumor, produced by parasitic bacteria of the genus Agrobacterium. The opines are used by the bacterium as an important source of nitrogen, carbon and energy. Opines are condensation product of either the amino acid and the keto acid, or the amino acid and sugar. So whenever there is a condensation reaction between the amino acid and the keto acid, that results in opine production, or the condensation between the amino acid and the sugar, that will also results in the formation of opines. There may be the presence of different opines like nopalin, octopine and acropine. Depending on that type of opines are present in the plant, that plasmid will be regarded as either nopalin plasmid, octopine plasmid, acropine plasmid. Next, we will have a look on the different type of genes present in the tDNA. Here is a set of genes in the Ti plasmid. First one is OCS gene that will encode for the protein or enzyme octopine synthase, and the function of the octopine synthase is octopine synthesis. Next gene is NOS and codes for the enzyme nopalin synthase, and the function is octopine synthesis. The next gene is TM, TMS1 and codes for the enzyme tryptophan 2 monooxygenase and the function is auxin synthesis. Next gene is TMS2 which codes for indoacetamine hydroxylase enzyme and the function is auxin synthesis. Next gene is TMR that codes for isopentyl transferase and its function is cytokine synthesis. The last three genes FRS, MAS, AGS codes for the enzyme fructopine synthase, mannopine synthase, agropine synthase and will function as opine synthesis. And in this tabular column we have seen the different genes present in TI plasmid and what are the enzymes and how their products are helping in the production of auxins, cytokine, octopine and opine synthesis. Now we will see the different genes that are required for the transfer of tDNA from the bacteria to the plant cell. This is the most important slide we will start with. The first gene is VIR-A gene which functions as a kinase protein in the bacterial membrane. It acts as a receptor for the phenolic released by the wounded plant. VIR-A gene and VIR-G genes are expressed continuously and they play the important role in sensing and responding to the phenolic compound that is acetosyringeone which are released by the wounded plant. After sensing, VIR-G gene is used to activate other VIR genes. VIR-D1 and VIR-D2 they act as an endonuclease. VIR-D it is responsible for the virulence activity of the bacteria. You should all remember that this point, this VIR-D is the most important virulent gene that will be responsible for the virulence activity in the plant. VIR-D2. VIR-D2 prevents the attack of exonuclease at 5' end of tDNA and play role in cutting phosphodiester bond and guides the tDNA complex through nucleopore. Next gene is VIR-E and VIR-E2. This gene used to protect the tDNA against nuclease and target the tDNA to the plant cell. It acts on the single stranded binding protein also. The next gene is VIR-C. It is used to stimulate the transfer and bind to the overriding region to promote the high efficiency of tDNA synthesis. The next gene VIR-B and D4 it is used mainly to form pore channel. Mainly the type 4 secretion system will be formed. It is also known as mating pair formation apparatus and behind forming the channel it assembles into the secretion system which spans inner and outer bacterial membrane. This channel which serves for the access to the tDNA and also function as an entry for the plant cell. This channel will be formed by the VIR-B and VIR-D4. And the last channel is VIR-D2 and VIR-E2. They have the capability of analyzing signal that is nuclear localization signal. So from all the genes only the VIR-D2 and VIR-E2 will get transferred to the plant cell. Mainly or in all the VIR genes they use the function in the bacterial cells. They does not use to be transferred inside the plant cell but except VIR-D2 and VIR-E2 is because they have the nuclear localization signal so they can be transferred from the bacteria to the plant cell. Next topic is the mode of action or the mode of transfer of tDNA from the agrobacterium to the plant cell. So the first step is the plant stress condition. So whenever there is a condition of stress or damage to the plant cell, at the time the plant used to produce a phenolic compound. That is, the phenolic compound will serve as a ligand for the receptor. That is, the VIR-A and the VIR-G acts as a receptor and the acetosyringeone compound will act as a ligand. Now, the VIR-A and the VIR-G genes They used to express in continuous condition inside the agrobacterium and serve as a receptor for the phenolic compound. So, release of phenolics by the wounded plant cell is the indication that the plant cell is right now having a low immunity level. So, that is the signal have been sent by the plant in the form of phenolics, and this phenolics will serve as a ligand for the bacteria, and this will indicate the bacteria this is the right time to infect the injured plant. The next step is signal to the bacteria. So, signal mainly used to transfer in the form of phenolics, and that phenolics will be termed as a ligand for the Vir-A and Vir-G gene that is present as a receptor inside the bacteria. The fourth point is the virulence system activation. That means the transcription of all the Vir genes will take place. That will be regulated by the Vir-A and Vir-G gene. Binding of the phenolics with the Vir-A, that will result in the autophosphorylation of the Vir-A. This autophosphorylation will lead to the autophosphorylation of the Vir-G by Vir-A gene. This automatically will result in the transcription of other Vir gene actions with the combination of Vir-A and Vir-G. Next function is done by Vir-D1 and D2 gene because they are acting as an enzyme endonuclease that will help in cutting up of the T region and tDNA region from the Ti plasmid. Along with the Vir-D and Vir-D2, it will help in the linearization of the tDNA in the form of single stranded form. Vir-D2 have one more function, that is, it uses to prevent the attack of exonuclease at the 5' end of the tDNA, which is already been linearized and it will be transformed in the form of single stranded. Now, let us talk about the function of Vir-E gene. Mainly the Vir-E2 gene used to code the single stranded DNA which is already linearized to form and acts as a DNA binding protein, and along with it, it also protects the tDNA against the attack of nuclease that targets into the plant cell. In this figure, you can see that Vir-B and Vir-D4 take part in the formation of the channel, and this channel will serve between the plant cell and the bacterial cell so that the tDNA get transferred from the bacterial cell to the plant cell. In the figure, you can see only the Vir-D2 and E2 has been transferred by the bacterial cell to the plant cell because these two genes have a nuclear localization signal. So that's why they can be able to enter the nucleus of the plant. So after reaching the plant cell, the tDNA gets entry into the nucleus and integrate itself into the genome of the plant. In plant, the cell, the single stranded DNA is converted into double stranded tDNA and then integrated themselves into the plant genome. Integration inside the plant genome occur at the random position, that is through non-homologous recombination. The integration of the tDNA in the plant genome depends on the specific sequence that are located on the right border of the tDNA. So, if there is an absence of right borders of tDNA, there won't be any tumor formation in the plant and there won't be any tDNA integration. So, this is the reason why the right border of the tDNA is necessary. So, in this way, we have seen all the steps that are needing in the transformation of tDNA to the plant cell. The last step is after integration of tDNA into the plant genome, expression or the overexpression of different phytohormones and opine gene will result in the uncontrolled division of the cell, and that will result in the tumor formation in the plant cell. So we have come to the last slide, That is, we are going to see the role of Agrobacterium as a genetical tool. If we want to use the Agrobacterium as a genetical tool, then the tDNA region has to be replaced by our gene of interest, and then they have to be targeted to the cells for the transformation of plant or generation of transgenic plants. One thing to note clearly that monocots are not good host for Agrobacterium, because there is an hypothetical belief that monocots are resistant to Agrobacterium because they do not produce any form of phenolics that can induce the virulence gene. So, if there is no production of phenolic compounds from the plant side, obviously how the bacteria will sense that to attack a plant. That's why they will be regarded as a good, not regarded as a good host for the plant. So far, we have learned about the Agrobacterium mediated gene transfer. In the next video, we will learn the indirect gene transfer technique. Thank you.
Want to know more about these topics? Please follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe our channel.